news just coming into our studios, Jesus, the son of Joseph from Nazareth, has been sentenced to death by the Sanhedrin this morning. This is an extraordinary development, given that we did not even expect the proceedings to begin until this morning, yet the sentence was meted out this morning. To help us unpack the implication and to just make sense of everything that is happening, we have reached to Professor of Criminology and Jewish Law, Professor Urui, to help us unpack this. Professor Urui, please welcome. And again, thank you very much for making it to the studio in this very short notice. Wow, quite a development. What do you, help us make sense, what do you understand about everything that has happened this far?
I am appalled. I am icked. I am angered. I am devastated by this travesty of a parade of charade. For lack of better word, what the Sanhedrin has demonstrated is nothing but hogwash. It is...
Professor, you will need to mind your language. Words like hogs and pigs are offensive to our audience. It is very clear that you are upset. What's making you upset? Is it the process? Is it the pace? Or is it the product of this entire operation?
The entire thing was a charade. First of all, why was this particular session conducted at night? It is against the basic and fundamental rules of the Torah. You cannot conduct a hearing at night. Why was it rushed through? The hearing, the conviction, and the sentence all done during the night. What was the rush for? Secondly, it is reliable sources tell us that the witnesses were giving conflicting evidences or conflicting statements. So I really wonder what the Sanhedrin was basing upon to be able to come with such a grievous conviction to this particular culprit. Thirdly, I am so annoyed and angered by Caiaphas. He is a personal friend of mine. We, in fact, went to school in the same university and were given our education by the same lecturer. But Caiaphas has acted in a manner that is so devastating. He went ahead, instead of being an arbitrator, decided to become both the prosecutor of this particular process. He's supposed to sit back and help the Sanhedrin as they are gathering the evidence and not act as a prosecutor. Again, we are told about the manner in which the witnesses were being summoned. Even Jesus Christ was not given an opportunity to present witnesses for him. It is such an abuse of the Jewish law, so to speak.
So, Professor, you clearly are very upset, but also equally, sources within the proceedings do tell us that when Jesus was interviewed, he largely remained silent. He only spoke once, and that is when the high priest asked him about his divine claims, to which he confirmed in the affirmative. Question is, do you think then the option by Jesus to A, not call witnesses, and B, remain largely silent did contribute to the kind of conclusion that the Sanhedrin arrived at?
No, not at all, not at all. Let me remind you one thing. One of the witnesses who is very key in this particular case is none other than Judas Iscariot. And Judas is on record having said that he has betrayed innocent blood, and secondly, went ahead to give back the 30 pieces of silver that he was given for him to be able to play out his role. This particular witness, who was also the disciple of Jesus Christ, should his evidence was satisfying enough to be able to be used to exonerate, or to be used as a means to be able to exonerate Jesus Christ. As I had pointed out earlier, the Sanhedrin were acting on a template upon which is supposed to be a template that is of a heavenly nature, where their role is not just to pass judgment, but to see if there's an option to be able to do what? To redeem people. So this is not an excuse whatsoever upon which the Sanhedrin acted upon to be able to pass such judgment that is not pleasing at all.
So your anger is understandable. The question, what we need at this moment is action, not just anger. And therefore, I want to ask, what can be done at a practical level to redress the anomalies that you have pointed out? Is there anything that can be done at this moment in the day?
Unfortunately, nothing can be done. The wheels of justice have started taking place and the cogs are in motion. The next step is that they will have to take him to the Romans, in this particular case to Pilate. It is sad to point out at this particular moment that the true custodians of the law ended up betraying the law itself by becoming bystanders. And it's evident that bystanders are betrayers.
Clearly, Professor is an upset man. Prof, thank you for coming in at short notice, and thank you for shedding light to this fast-moving story. We will release you to go and keep following more on the ground and probably try to intervene where best you can. And please do keep that favor for us so that should we ever need you back, we can be able to call you. That was Professor Urui commenting on the happenings that have just taken place. Christ demands all. If he required less, his sacrifice was too dear, too great to make to bring us to such a level. Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. This is a self-denying way. And when you think that the way is too narrow, that there is too much self-denial in the narrow path, when you say how hard to give up all, take a visit to Calvary. And there, behold Christ. Then return and ask yourself this question: what did Christ give up for me? This visit and this question puts anything that we may call self-denial in the shade. Joining me now live at Pilate's residence is our reporter, Pekuzi. Pekuzi, welcome. Can you get me loud and clear, Pekuzi?
Oh yes, I can get you loud and clear.
Okay, Pekuzi, I know this story has quite some moving parts, but one of the immediate nagging questions individuals are asking is, why is it that a man of such popularity like Jesus had, he literally had crowds following him wherever it is that he went, why is it that in his hour of trial there are no witnesses for him?
Yes, indeed, it's a phenomenon that has caught many with their mouths wide open. But it came as a no surprise because it is believed that most of his disciples decided to run away from him. In fact, there is one of his disciples who was seen around and questioned whether he really knew Jesus Christ, but denied vehemently. He goes by the name of Peter. The only people who seem to be ready or who seem to be hanging around are basically or mostly women. But as you know, according to the Torah and the Jewish laws, women's evidence cannot be taken into account.
And there's the name being thrown around, Judas. He's one of the disciples. Sources have intimated that He was probably a high-ranking disciple, probably their treasurer, and he's key to this case. What is his position as a witness, and how has that unfolded this far?
Indeed, we expected the Sanhedrin to parade him as one of the witnesses because it's believed that he's one of the key people who is central in this case, having betrayed Jesus Christ, but went ahead to deny it. Went ahead and claimed that he had actually betrayed innocent blood. But unfortunately, he was not given a permission, or rather not presented before the Sanhedrin as one of the witnesses, leave alone the fact that he even decided to give back the bribe money that had been given unto him, and his whereabouts currently are not known.
So where does the case move from here? The Sanhedrin has officially, or in a few moments, will be headed in your direction at Pilate's court. What is expected to happen next?
Yeah, indeed, I'm currently setting up here at Pilate's court because it's believed that the next stopover for these sensitive and these high voltage case will be right here with Pilate himself giving himself an ear to Jesus Christ so that they can be able to make a determination. As you've been told before, the Sanhedrin has decided to pass over the death penalty to Jesus Christ, and they cannot be able to do it. Hence, they have to seek the permission of the Romans, and Pilate will be the key person or the key component to see whether he shall be able to do this. As it were, Pilate is currently faced with two options. He can either go ahead and decide to pass over the death sentence to Jesus Christ, or he can go use another alternative by asking the Jews to have one of their prisoners to be released, because it is the Passover, and during this time, Pilate usually gives an opportunity to have one of their own released from prison.
The second option, are there credible alternatives out there? Which names are being floated around for possible individuals as alternatives?
Looking at the expectations of the Jewish community, they wanted somebody to liberate them, and the name Barnabas is being spoken or heard in people's ears because he was seen to be a rebellious leader who they thought would actually be fighting for their cause. So he's one of the key people, one of the key prisoners that we are hearing could be a person that could be floated to be released to the Jewish community.
Indeed, Pekuzi, I want to release you so that you finish with your setup, and please be our ears and eyes on the ground in this sensitive case. Again, if you're just joining us, Jesus of Nazareth has been condemned to death by the Sanhedrin, but as the operation of the laws require, he will be taken over to Pilate to either confirm or decline that particular request. And we at BBN, led by Pekuzi and team, will be on hand to report to you blow by blow as this monumental thing keeps unfolding. As for now, I would like to leave you with this piece of music.
Nimeamini nimekombolewa na damu yake Yesu msalabani, mchana usiku hata jioni, nimezingirwa na damu yake Kristo. Damu yaokoa, yasafisha wenye dhambi, alishinda mauti, mtetezi yu hai. Damu yaokoa, yasafisha wenye dhambi, alishinda mauti, mtetezi yu hai. Mtetezi yu hai. Katika raha, katika shida, inua macho umuite Mwokozi. Ni kipi kinachokutesa moyo? Mwambie Mwokozi atakupigania. Anakusikia, fahamu upitiayo. Mwamini Mwokozi, nyenyekea mbele zake. Anakusikia, afahamu upitiayo. Mwamini Mwokozi, nyenyekea mbele zake. Nyenyekea mbele zake. Na upokee upendo wake. Upendo wake umetushikilia sisi. Je, ni mali, ni umasikini inayokufanya usimsifu Mungu? Wafahamu yote yanapita, kimbilio letu ni kwake Mwokozi, Muumba wa mbingu na vyote vilivyomo, nchini bahari vijazavyo mali yake, Muumba wa mbingu na vyote vilivyomo, nchini bahari vijazavyo mali yake.